All right, Tesla update, our market update, Tesla, QQQ, and SPY update, maybe the dollar and the VIX. So I'll just go ahead and do a summary of where we were at yesterday. So yesterday we finished at 242, but we had gotten 5 waves up, and we had this move back here, and we got a move higher that hit exactly the 1.61 fib. I know there's a lot of jumbled mess on here because I'm doing stuff on lower time frames, but we hit the 1.61 fib. So based on that, just looking at this, you would think this is a third wave right here, and then this would be a fourth wave. So now let me zoom in. So we think this is a third wave right here. But then we get this move down, and on a fourth wave, I would be looking for probably right around where it hit today, actually. So it hit at 231.40. That's pretty much the max it can go. If it retraces back here into this first wave, then we know this is not a 5-wave move. So we've already hit the 0.38 fib, but then the structure of this move is looking like 5 waves to me. So based on that, I would say this is more than likely actually topped out right here. So that's my analysis on it so far. This actually looks like 1, 2, and then we have a third wave starting. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I think that this is the end of a third wave right here. So 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a third wave. If it was ABC and we go up tomorrow, then it's a very unusual ABC move because the C wave would be very long. This is definitely impulsive wave based on everything that I use. It's an impulsive move. So if it were to go up tomorrow and start a 5-wave move higher, then that would be very out of the ordinary. And also we have a lot of resistance right here. This move right here coming off the lows also looks very corrective, and that's why I think it's a fourth wave. So really we're looking at this, in my opinion. Something like that. And at this point we're at 234. Why would we not come down here and just fill the gap here at 225? It doesn't have to, but if it's 5 waves, then I'm expecting another lower low tomorrow, and we have the gap filled down here at 225. And then that would just be either wave A or wave 1. So we'd either be looking at something like that, or we'd be looking at being a 5-wave move. And if we zoom out here, if this ends up being a 5-wave move down, then this is what I talked about yesterday in the video. This could be wave 1, wave 2, and we could be starting this third wave down. A third wave of a third wave. So we'd be looking for, again, this is getting ahead of everything because it's way out in the future, but you'd be looking at something probably down here around 120, no, probably lower than that, maybe like 110, 120 or something like that. And that could potentially be a, let's actually look and see where this would go. So you'd be looking at 142, bounce, and then probably another lower low, which would be 5 waves. And then potentially a fourth wave bounce. We could be seeing down here at 80 bucks, potentially even lower, if this ends up being the start of a third wave of a third wave. So again, a third wave of a third wave is the biggest impulsive move there is. So I know I'm getting kind of far out there and kind of like talking about the future, but I'm just saying that this looks to me like a 5-wave move, and we have a corrective move off the low, so I'm expecting more downside tomorrow. And If we get more downside tomorrow, then I'd probably look for a bounce after that. And so let's say we go down to the gap fill, you'd be looking at a pullback, probably back up here to 235, and probably go up here potentially and fill this gap at 242. So I think that there's still maybe some upside, but you'd be going against the trend if you try to get the upside from here. This is actually one of my worst trading days in a while because I was going into it thinking it was a fourth wave. And this is why I try not to trade fourth waves, but I got stopped out on shares like 3 or 4 times and ended up, I was like a fraction of my gains from the last couple of days from this move, but still, it was kind of an annoying day. It just kept on going down. So anyway, look for probably more downside tomorrow. And if it bounces from here, then I'll have to change that. But it looks like 5 waves down for me. And if we're lucky, this ends up being a weird fourth wave extended structure. But I think that we're leaning towards the downside. So let's look at the daily real quick and just see where we're at on the standard deviations. Or on the weekly. Let's do the weekly. So on the weekly, you can kind of see that we are kind of towards the top of the range anyway. So the move down here makes a lot more sense. Just because you can see we got to the top of the range here, came down to the bottom. We got pretty much to the top of the range here. And now we're starting to move lower. So 80 bucks, if we do start a downtrend, makes a lot of sense. So I would watch out for downside from here. And I wouldn't be going long until it's confirmed that we're going to go up. So that's my thoughts on Tesla. I wouldn't be going long anytime soon unless we get some kind of reversal. On SPY. So on SPY, I'll just zoom in here to the lower time frames. I think that this is making, I think it probably topped out. And one thing that makes me think it topped out, which I originally was saying there's probably another leg higher. But then I looked at this today on the weekly time frame. Where did we hit? Oh, right here. So there's a supply zone right here. That we hit, basically, and we came a little bit outside of it and immediately came back down into it. We finished at 450.23 at the very top of this. So now if we zoom in here, so this right here is either going to be the 5th wave right here. Let me go to the hourly or 30 minutes. I would say this is probably it unless we get an extended 5th wave. So an extended 5th wave would mean we come back down here and then go higher. This right here looks like a 5-wave move to me. This is 5 waves, and then this kind of looks like a B wave to me, and it looks like we're probably putting in a C wave, so maybe something like that is what I'm looking at. Again, we don't know if this is the top for good, like we're going to go down to lower lows, or if it's just a retracement for a second wave, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. It is also possible I think it's probably 5 waves here. And then A, B, 1, 2. We might come all the way up here to like 451 tomorrow and then sell off, in my opinion. But that is not, that looks like a B wave to me right here. So that's my thoughts on it right now. We'll see how it goes tomorrow if anything changes. But we are in a big supply zone as well. Can it get over the supply zone? It barely did here. We'll see if it can get above that tomorrow, but I'm leaning towards the downside. QQQ is the same thing, basically. Got 5 waves here. Then you got A, B, potentially something like this. And then I would be looking for some more downside, whether that's going to be a C wave or a third wave. Same as on SPY, I'm not sure. But I think it probably topped out. We can look at, you go to the hourly again. Yeah, I think this is, I have it labeled 1, 2 right here, but I think that's probably a third wave, and this is a fourth wave actually, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of these are saying we probably topped out. I would look for at least a 50% retracement here. So back down here to fill this gap probably at 378. And then after we fill that gap, we can see if that's a second wave, an extended fifth wave, or it's the start of a bigger drop, potentially a second wave, or maybe even to lower lows. So we can't label, or we can't rule out, even though we made new highs, or did we? I think we double topped. We can't rule out this right here, where this ends up being, hold on for 1 second. Let's see if this actually made a new high. Makes a big difference. I mean, technically, you can't even rule out this at this point being a 5-wave move. You can't rule this out because we didn't make new highs. So you can't rule this out at all. It could happen. That would be a massive, massive drop, obviously. And I would say it's probably unlikely, but you can't rule it out. And then, of course, the second possibility is this. So take your pick. I'm leaning towards the upside, but I think that a pullback here to at least a 50% retracement is probably coming. Going back to Tesla, if we just go back to the 50% retracement, then what does it mean for Tesla? I don't know. If it breaks above, if it breaks below here at 226.48, then obviously that invalidates a 5-wave move. Maybe we're looking at something like this. We get a B wave that takes, let's see here. Yeah, we'd get a B wave basically into the Cybertruck announcement on the 30th. And then we would get another move higher going into, that would be like maybe mid-December. We would hit the C wave like this. So this would actually look like that. So it'd be A, B, and then C up here. The 1.61 fib of 246 is a little bit short of this gap fill right here, but 278, that would still bring into play that this could be a, could still be a second wave, I guess. I don't know. I'm just playing around with scenarios, but that's actually very likely as well. A B wave here and then a C wave higher, maybe after the Cybertruck announcement. So right now, all you need to know though is we're starting a 5-wave move down. Look for more downside tomorrow and then a bounce. That's pretty much all that needs to be said. The dollar. So the dollar looks like it probably wants more downside. So that's actually bullish for the market. So that kind of goes against what I was saying about the indexes. But that's what it looks like to me. We did not break outside of this parallel line though, so we need to break this parallel line to confirm that this is a wave 3. Otherwise, it could be ABC as well. So I'm waiting for a confirmation that this is breaking through this parallel line for a third wave. If it bounces here, then again, if it's not a 5-wave move down, then we're looking for more upside. That would actually be bearish for the market. So if this breaks up here and goes within 104.86, then I'm leaning towards this being a corrective move again. I know I'm going back and forth, but every day it changes. So you want to see this sell off tomorrow to confirm it's a third wave. If we don't get that and it comes up here to 104.86, then you're looking at a corrective move, and then you're looking at this probably, let's see, you're probably looking at this being an ABC move, and then you're probably looking at upside after that. So actually looked like it was a start of 5-wave move yesterday, and now it's kind of hanging up here, and it hasn't broken outside the parallel line. So again, wait for it to break between the parallel lines, or if it comes up here to 104.86, then we know it's a corrective move, and that's bad for equities. 10-year yield. Let's see. Potentially starting that move higher here. So it looks like it got a nice bounce here, move down. Maybe we make something like this, and maybe tomorrow is like that. Let me zoom in here a little bit farther. Yeah, I would say it's around, this 5-wave move is probably close to it completed if it's not already completed. So I would look for that retracement back up here to 4.7 to 4.8, and that is going to be bearish, obviously, for growth stocks and for pretty much everything. So this also supports, again, the 5-wave move on both indexes. Not sure what it means for Tesla again, but we'll see tomorrow if it completes that 5-wave move, and hopefully I'm wrong and ends up being an ABC move and goes higher, because I want to see higher prices on Tesla. But I don't know, Elon Musk had some backlash today with the anti-Semitism, I guess. I don't really know what happened. It was like a retweet, something stupid. But the media is like slamming him. So that's kind of a weird timing thing where it's like, okay, the stock's selling off, and it just kind of invalidated this ABC move, or this 5-wave move. It kind of invalidated almost. So it's kind of weird timing on that. It almost seems like a setup to me, but who knows? So if it's a setup and we do get a 5-wave move down, you know, they could just tank the stock and go with that narrative. So then be like, everyone's not buying Teslas anymore. I don't know. Stupid stuff, but it was just kind of a 180 today from yesterday, so it was kind of dumb. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for today's update. Again, once the market starts falling, I'll get into the other tech stocks, but for right now, I'm just sticking to Tesla and the indexes. So that's it for now. Leave me a comment. Tell me your thoughts on this. Do you think we're going to go to new highs? Do you think we're going to start selling off? What's your price target, etc.? And I'll talk to you in the next video.